Last year, the Red Hot Chili Peppers dropped their 13th studio album. On the one-year anniversary, rediscover Return of the Dream Canteen with Anthony, Chad, and Flea as they share stories track by track. It starts now on Whole Lotta Red Hot.
Chadsmith here. A little song called Tip of My Tongue. Song number 1 on a record called Return of the Dream Canteen.
Peace and Love was originally called Faye, only for a working title. You know, we always have these working titles. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, but it's just what I think about the origin of it. Once again, this is a song that started with a bass line, and I had been in a part of Los Angeles, you know, in the projects, and met a woman named Faye, and, you know, enjoyed her company, a friend of my wife and I. And was just thinking about her and playing bass, and this bass line came out. And, you know, obviously it turned into something completely different. And it's a beautiful sentiment that Anthony sings about, very uplifting and warming. And it's cool. There's a saxophone solo by Josh Johnson. John treated it so it doesn't really sound like a saxophone, but it's a saxophone. And, you know, it's a funky and kind of ethereal funk jam. So enjoy it. Hello, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Reach Out started with John just playing these beautiful series of guitar parts that go together. It was really sort of delicate, almost sounds like it would be a classical piece to me when he played it, like something like, I don't know, like a classical guitarist. And so as a bass player, you know, when I hear him playing something beautiful like that, I really wanted to just kind of find a way to get in there and go counter to him, to answer him, as opposed to playing along with him. And, you know, that worked out pretty good. And it has this real anthemic chorus that I love, has a lot of yearning in it. You know, someone better reach out, like Anthony's really hollering it, like, just somebody reach the fuck out. You know, I'm asking, please. It's a super dynamic jam, and I'm so proud of it, to be a part of it. And it's something that I think, you know, can stand the test of time as a piece of music beyond style or time or, you know, what's popular at any particular time. Just as a piece of music, I think it's really got something.
Chadsmith here. Song on Return of the Dream Canteen. A little number called Eddie. Inspired by the late, great Edward Van Halen. When I was a kid growing up, those early Van Halen records were like the Bible to me. I was in from note one, hearing Eddie's guitar, the banshee shriek of David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony's rumbling bass, and of course the great Alex Van Halen's drumming, which was very influential to me. I used to go in my garage where I grew up outside of Detroit, and I would set up in the garage and put the headphones on and play the Van Halen 2 especially, which had so many great songs, and along with all those records. But those first few Van Halen records, I warm out. They're amazing. And so when Eddie passed, like most people, it was a heavy thing. You know, he was an amazing, incredible, innovative musician. And certainly for guitar players, you can't help but be influenced by Eddie Van Halen in some way. John came in with this riff, and we just started playing it, and it came together really quickly, like often our best songs do. Anthony got inspired by the music and wrote this song about Eddie. And now we play it live in our set. It's one of our favorite songs to play, especially because John gets to take possibly the longest guitar solo on a Chili Peppers record. And then live, you know, we like to stretch out a bit. So he just gets to really do his thing. And it's so fun and it's amazing. And, I just love it. So that's our homage to the great Eddie Van Halen. Here's a song called Eddie.
Here you have a song called Fake as Fuck. A lot of this music was written during lockdown, and I was very affected by this huge shift in human consciousness, you know, where everyone was told not to leave your house and don't do this and don't do that and don't interact with people and don't be humans. And I felt the loss for humanity at that time, and the lyrics of the song kind of speak to not believing the media, not believing the government, kind of just go outside and see for yourself what's going on so that we don't become these little blobs of former humanity on our couches. Anyways, the song is pretty freaking up-tempo and fun to dance to. It is called Fake as Fuck. This is Anthony, and you're listening to a whole lot of Red Hot. Okay, then you have Bella, which has an emotional content to it. Flea came in with the bass line and an unusual time signature. The time signature is called 7/4, which just is basically invented to make it hard for singers because there's no obvious time where to enter or exit. Something that Parliament Funkadelic were masterful at, but for me, I'm remedial in my approach sometimes. Not a bad thing. But 7/4, so there is this cool verse. It's funky, and then John took that verse, went home, picked up his guitar, and wrote a chord change for the chorus. Came in very natural and delightfully unfolding number. My favorite line of which is, "Hell no, my name ain't Bradley." This line appears in the song, and it makes Chadsmith smile. So, welcome to Bella. A song called Roulette, and it was not even born until the recording of the record was in progress. We're at a place called Shangri-La, owned and operated by the great Rick Rubin, our friend and co-worker. The boys were riffing between the recordings of some song, and I was like, what is that? What is that? What is that? And they're like, it's nothing. We're just like tuning our instruments. And I was like, that's a song. So we recorded it, and then I took it over the Pacific Ocean with me and put some words to it very last minute. It's called Roulette. It's got a vibe. Then you have My Cigarette, which was a drum machine and possibly even other machines involved that Flea concocted in his garage on the PCH. At the time, he lived on the PCH, and he was killing time, making time, having a good time in his garage by himself, writing cool little beats and ideas. And he brought that in on I think he used a 4-track on his phone to record this shit. And I heard it, and it spoke to me, and I was, what's that? I like that. Can I have that? Can you send me that? I want to write something to that. And it turned out to be My Cigarette. Afterlife came early in the writing sessions for both Unlimited Love and Return of the Dream Canteen. And I don't know what I can say. It's a jam, and it has a few cool references to musical inspirations. One being James Brown, another being Iggy Pop. So that's what I've got to say about Afterlife. Oh, and my mom. It does mention something that my mother told me. See if you could find that. Afterlife, Shoot Me a Smile is kind of a ode to the Meat Puppets, one of the coolest bands that we ever grew up with out of Arizona, out of the desert specifically. Flea inspired the song, but when all is said and done, we had our way with it. This is anthonykiedis. Then you have a song called Handful. I think I got overcome with the spirit of Van Morrison, and I just wanted to try singing something in the spirit and personality of Van Morrison where you're not like the head of the beat or on the beat. You might even be a little late. So that's why this verse sounds the way it does vocally. Thank you, Van Morrison.
So there's a song on Return to the Dream Canteen called The Drummer. This is Chad, the drummer. But this song is not about me. Anthony writes all the words and the melodies for our music, and so he was inspired by this. I like to let people kind of make what they want out of our songs, and certainly their own interpretation of the music and how it affects them, and the lyric as well. But there is a part where he says the drummer is leaning without any meaning outside the club troubadour. And it's not me, it's another drummer from a very famous band from the 70s. And Anthony told me, maybe I'm telling a story out of school, but he was with his dad, and his dad saw this musician leaning in the doorway of the troubadour. And he said, "You know who that guy is?" And Anthony's like, "No." He says, "Well, they're going to be a very popular band. They're a band called the Eagles. So if you know who the drummer is from the Eagles, I'll let you figure that out. That's the drummer. Here it comes."
Bag of Grins is just trippy and weird and really a reflection on death and all of the beauty of death, but also the ridiculousness of death and what we leave behind and how we behave leading up to all of our own deaths. Bag of Grins.
Chadsmith here. Here's a song right now coming up. Turn to the Dream Canteen number. And this song is called La 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 la.
Copperbelly, another song that Flea introduced initially, and I think the song has a lot to do with staring your fears in the face so intently that they lose their power.
Hey there, I'm Chad, and you're on a whole lot of Red Hot. The song Carry Me Home. I'm so happy that this made it onto the Return of the Dream Canteen. I remember John came in with this riff, and we just started jamming on it, and I was like, wow, this is kind of like a blues. And the Chili Peppers in our 40 years have never done a blues. Now, it's not a traditional B.B. King or Albert King, any of the Kings blues song, but to me, it has that feeling. You know, it's just one of my favorites, and we're playing it live, and we get to really stretch out, and I just love playing the song, and the ending is epic, and we get to play our little hearts out on this one as much as we can like the others, but I really am enjoying this song. It's called Carry Me Home.
This is Anthonykiedis. In the Snow is just a really beautiful piece of electronic songwriting that John composed and that I heard and said, please let me sing on that. It took forever to finish as we were on different states, but we ended up calling it In the Snow. It's a good song for driving too. It's a driving song, In the Snow.